Hello. There's only one issue I want to discuss with you at the moment, and at the end, I'll tell you why. And the issue is Messi. I heard and read a few stories about the possibility of him coming to the Premier League and etc., as a consequence of his response to Abidal, Eric Abidal, the director of football and former teammate of his. Let me give you the context. Basically, Barcelona did not sign anybody yet, or any striker anyway, because they did sign Trincao from Sporting Braga that will arrive next season for 31 million euros, even though his buy clause is 30 million. In any case, a striker did not arrive. Now, of course, they are going to try to convince the federation that the injury of Dembélé is for more than 5 months. He has been operated. Recuperation period time says it's 6 months, so they'll need to get a striker. But meanwhile, it seems like due to the limitations of the budget, they basically have to improvise a little bit. They made contact with many players, including Bakambu, but the idea really was to get either Timo Werner, Aubameyang, or a third one, I've forgotten now. Sorry, and Rodrigo, I just remembered. It didn't happen for different reasons, but mostly because either the clubs didn't want to sell or didn't want to sell under the conditions that Barcelona wanted, which mostly was that on loan. Basically, Abidal was forced to actually have an interview with Sport and Mundo Deportivo, the two Catalan newspapers, explain what had happened, because there was a lot of criticisms that players, after putting so many players in the newspapers, not the club, but the agents, the players, the newspapers as well, like the transfer window, because it brings that much of an attention and big names that eventually don't get to the clubs, but allows people to discuss things. After all that, nothing arrives. So as I said, Abidal had to explain himself, and he was very honest. Now, you could also say naive. There are things that perhaps you cannot say when you are in that role, like suggesting that the players got rid of Valverde, and suggesting, basically he said they weren't happy and they weren't working hard enough. Those words were picked by Sport in their, not in the headline, but in the, I don't know how you call it, the sub after the headline. And basically Messi, who clearly reads the newspapers, at least the Spanish ones, he took a screenshot of it and put on his Instagram that things are not done this way and responsibility should be taken by the ones who take decisions, etc. Not pointing the finger of blame to the players, and in particular to him, because he knows that every time there is somebody saying the team is not working hard enough or the team got rid of the manager, everybody looks at him. So I think it was a response to that, but a response as well to a director who basically had made the mistake of explaining his view on the situation, but making a second mistake of actually blaming the players for what was going on. Bartomeu, who was outside from Spain, actually had to make calls and eventually met Abidal, talked to Messi, and everything is calmed down now. But it created tension, and then of course it reminded everybody that Messi can leave Barcelona on a free every year. He renews himself, basically. He says the only thing that has to happen, I think how he gets activated, this clause in his contract, is that he calls Barcelona and says, I want to leave. If he wants to stay, he doesn't need to call. Nobody expects that call. Remember, Leo Messi needs to be comfortable in his surroundings, needs to feel he knows where he stands, who his friends are, who his enemies are, and just generally be surrounded by his people. He's got 3 kids, his wife, and they all live by the sea outside Barcelona. In what Cristina Cubero, who knows him very well, a Spanish journalist, described as a mini Rosario, a little Argentina that he's created around him. So you'll be seeing him. You see him in the Argentinian restaurants. You see him walking around in the beach. It's like he's at home. That's his home now, and that's where his kids have been born. So for him to change, it will require a massive disappointment. Not even money, a massive disappointment. I heard that there was a massive offer that came from China, but I haven't got that doubly confirmed. So I'm only saying it's a rumor, to which there was a negative response. He's been getting offers in the past. You know that Real Madrid tried to get him, even though there wasn't, and I explained that in the biography in detail, but there was no offer. Manchester City at some point thought it would be a possibility about 2012-13, but eventually didn't go for him either. That was the last time where I think he genuinely thought he would leave. And then there's been tension around new contracts, which also has meant that he's put in his head, maybe I should leave, but he comes back after a couple of weeks and says to the same people that he said maybe I should leave, that I'm looking forward to next season. So people around him know that it may happen, it may cross his mind, but the step of actually preparing himself to leave Barcelona and his surroundings, I don't think he's seen that coming soon. How about how long he'll be around? Who knows? I think the Qatar World Cup could be a good ending and a bad ending, really, because he's leaving us. But we'll see if in the last season, because his contract finishes in 2021, if he'll be in Barcelona or somewhere else preparing for the World Cup. In any case, we're talking about those dates, and I think Neymar was aware that with Messi wanting him at the club, back at the club, Neymar was aware that he could be replacing Messi in the hearts of the fans, despite the fact that there's been a lot of troubles that have kind of complicated that relationship between the fans and Neymar. In any case, the push from the players for Neymar to come, or the suggestion, was with the idea of course, he can take over after Messi goes. That was the plan. That's why Barcelona will come back for Neymar in the summer. I'm sure they will. But that has come down a little bit, and what we've seen under Quique Setién is a Messi that is not scoring as many goals. Now we're moving into the sporting arena, but he's assisting a lot. Only 2 players in the whole of Europe have got double figures in terms of goals scored and assistance to his teammates, double figures, and that's Jadon Sancho and Messi himself, who reached those double figures in both departments, in the assisting as well this weekend. So why is that? Why is he gone a little bit deeper and trying to, assisting, which is a talent that he's got anyway, instead of scoring? Well, he has shot 27 times, has not been able to score. Goalkeepers have made a difference. In 3 or 4 of these chances, you would say Messi will normally score. A normal player, any other player, will have the difficulty of having to beat the goalkeeper, but you expect Messi to score, and it didn't happen. So under Quique Setién, many more assists and not so much goals. In the league, I think it's only 3 that he scored since Quique Setién arrived. But it's down to a tiredness that is not exactly muscle injury, as has been reported. It's not so much that he's got muscle problems. It's just that he's tired. It's a tiredness that comes upon him because of all the minutes that he's played, all the games that he's played. But he doesn't want to stop now. He needs to feel sharp. He needs to feel well because the big games come. But obviously, it's also a problem if against Napoli he feels that he is still to be the provider, because there's not many more players scoring for Barcelona. Griezmann has done it a few times, but the relationship between Griezmann and Messi hasn't set the world alight yet. I think they only pass each other 6 times in the game at the weekend, and that suggests that they're still not reading each other's movement and the role of each other has to be. You can see it in Griezmann, that feels frustrated. His role has to be a number 9. Even when a number 9 comes in, he'll have to adapt to the new circumstances, and meanwhile, Griezmann will have to just fill that gap, means working between the centre-backs, running all the time, even though you won't be found, having, link up sometimes, but just when the ball gets to you in the area, go for it, like Luis Suarez would, because Luis Suarez is going to be out for 3.5 more months as well. So in terms of who will replace or what striker they're going for, William José is one, but Real Sociedad doesn't want to negotiate a fee at the moment. Angel has got a 9 million buyout clause. Is another one. Loren of Betis. Stuani, it's been at the moment they're taken out of the list, so we'll see if he goes back to the list or disappears completely. And they're saying that it's somebody else that nobody's mentioned that they're also looking at. We will see, but they need a striker. Quique Setién has admitted that. So that's all I wanted to tell you. And also announce you that the top 5 is going to disappear. Oh, one of you says. But I'm going to replace it for something else. I moved to a new newspaper, and the announcement of that will be soon. So I'm not in AS anymore. And as a consequence, we're going to relive the Ask Guillem format. So on Monday, Sunday night, Monday, I will ask for your questions, and we'll pick the most interesting of those, and then I'll do a video Monday, Tuesday, and that's how we're going to work every week. I'll do it in English, pero también en español. I'll do it in Spanish as well, and see how it works, see what you think of it. Meanwhile, I'll leave you because I have to go to Media Pro to do Viva La Liga, which I hope you watch sometimes, because we put on really good content in La Liga TV, and that's for the UK viewers. That's on Virgin, but also on Sky. It's in my timeline. I don't think it's at La Liga TV. There's also a Twitter handle. So that's all. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.